Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening. Welcome to the Pivotal Podspective. It's Tuesday evening here in the UK at 9 p.m. And it's only this week we're going to be doing 9 p.m. because next week we're going to 7 p.m. We're going to tell you about that in a little while. But this is the show, guys, where Adrian and my name's Elliot Brown, of course, and my co-host,
Adrian Darwansu.
we are on a quest to speak to as many entrepreneurs, as many experts, or extraordinaires, as we like to call them, from all corners of the globe. That's the flat earth phrase, but around the globe, if you're like the rest of us that feel it's a round planet. I don't know why I keep mentioning the flat earth, I keep seeing posts on social media. What are you, flat earth or round, Adrian?
Rectangle.
Brilliant. Anyway, so this is the show where we chat to people from all over the place to give us, as in you, the audience, and us here, both Adrian and I, their tips, their tricks, their pivotal ideas, things that are going to help us all to be able to level up, things that we can adopt, adapt, pivot, and improve. We don't have a guest this evening because, like Thursday, we wanted to chat to you guys. Well, actually, Adrian and I want to have a bit of a chat, but to edutain you guys, to let you know what is going to be going on and the changes that are coming. So the big news that's going on here on the Pivotal Podspective and Essex Business Radio. How are you doing, Adrian?
Yeah, perfect. And actually, we have a guest tonight, Elliot. It's the crowd. It's you guys. You're gonna be the crowd. You're gonna be the guest tonight, right?
Yep. We do. We don't. Wait 1 second. 1 second. There you go. You guys can be our guest extraordinaires this evening. So fire us questions, fire us answers, fire us comments. But also something I've picked up from Tristan G, who is going to be coming on the breakfast show on Essex Business Radio. Again, we're going to tell you about that in a little while. But what he does is actually gets people to not just make comments. And in fact, Fern Eliz King. Hi, Fern. How you doing? She was a guest on our show recently.
Morning, Fern.
Thanks very much for joining us. It's about 6 a.m. in Australia, where she is. Was just outside Melbourne, was that right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, she was. So hi, Fern. How you doing? Thanks for joining us. And wherever you guys are, wherever you are in the UK, Australia, South Africa, Africa, America, whatever country, France, we've had people in France and Holland. In fact, they're all over the place. Wherever you guys are, if you want to, if you like what we're saying, press a like. But actually, what we'd really like to do is we'd like to get a bit more interaction on these shows. So send us some hearts on the comments or some likes. Or if we're talking about money matters, then send us some local currency notes off on Facebook. So you put it into the comments underneath wherever you're watching. So put those there. Let us know you're watching, and let us know you're engaged in what we're talking about. We've got 11 people that are already watching. Thanks very much, guys. Thank you for joining us wherever you are. We are across Facebook on 5 different profiles, and we are on YouTube and Instagram. And we're also over here on Instagram as well. Sorry, on Twitter. We're over here on Instagram. So I'm going to do a little wave. Unfortunately, Instagram, guys, you can't hear what Adrian's saying. So I urge you to go over to Facebook or YouTube. Just search for Essex Business Radio, and you can watch the live show where Adrian and I are chatting tonight about what we've got coming up from next week. 7 p.m, guys. The show is moving to 7 p.m. Adrian, you're happy about that, my friend, aren't you?
Very happy. You're not going to see my red eyes anymore, guys. So, yeah. They should be whiter from next week.
Because if people do not know, Adrian is in Romania when we first met, which was here. Hi, Robbo. Thanks for joining us. Go over to Facebook, go over to YouTube, Essex Business Radio, or my Facebook page, and come and join the show, guys. I'm just talking to people on Instagram. If you're listening to this as a podcast, or you're just listening to this and you're moving around doing whatever, then I'm chatting to Instagram. They can't hear what we're saying. But I urge you all to go over and join. It looks like we've had a few more people join as well. So thanks for joining. We've got some good big news about what's going on. We've got loads of things changing, haven't we, from where we started?
Yeah, we have, just because, like we've discussed in the previous shows, we have to evolve. We have to pivot, and we want our guests from tonight, and not just from tonight, but people that follow us, to do the same. So yeah, you can say the news, Elliot.
Yeah, well, the news is 7 p.m. As of next week, so Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 7 p.m. But we are actively looking for more guests, and we've got quite a lot of interest in people coming on the show and people booked in. We've got guests tomorrow and Thursday this week, which they are still at 9 p.m. because it was booked in, been on that for a while. The format's changing, but we are looking for guests in certain areas now, and the format's changing slightly. So where we've had maybe one guest on or two from the same company, same business, we're actually looking now for people in different fields, and I'm going to go through a bit of a list in a second, and Adrian, you can add to them if we've thought of anything else. But these are all areas we feel that can really help anybody in business, or not just if you're in business already or you've started something recently, but if you want to start something as well. Hi, Andy Levy over on Instagram. Go over onto Facebook, my Facebook page, or Essex Business Radio. Go and join the live show where I'm chatting to Adrian Dorobantu, my co-host, and we're chatting about what's going to be happening from next week, the 1st of September. And we're both Virgos, so it's dear to our heart, isn't it, Adrian?
Exactly. It's going to be our month, that month.
In fact, it's nearly a year since we met. So a lot has happened in that year, right?
Yeah, many changes.
Many changes. And in fact, this show has developed and grown, and we're definitely getting a bigger audience now. And that's why it's been really important for us to get something really, not just pivotal, but like a bit more impactful. Some guests on that have got real value. We've had a lot of guests on, and we've realized that, there are people with huge value, but I think sometimes it would be good to have more than one guest on from maybe the same field or similar fields. So we can ask them separate questions, but ask them questions together and maybe get slightly different viewpoints. And I think that might bring a little bit more out of the extraordinaires that we get on the show. That's what we reckon, isn't it, Adrian?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And sometimes even, like you said, different fields. So thinking about any online business and then having an accountant, all right? And then they can just talk about some things, because all of the online businesses will have some things that will apply to them, and an accountant could help you to just improve that or save some money at least, right? Those are things that will help all of us. So that's what we're trying to do.
So drop in the comments below. Let us know below if you feel that you want to hear from particular extraordinaires, experts, specialists, entrepreneurs in certain fields, business owners, management. What is it that you guys want to hear? Who is it you want to hear from? Who do you want us to get on the show and chat to?
And not just that, please be specific, all right? Tell us what you want to hear. Because talking about, if you want to hear about meditation, then meditation is a very big topic, very vast subject. So please tell us specific type of meditation, what you want to hear. That was just an example. If you want to hear about digital marketing, please tell us what exactly, like Google ads or SEO, then Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, whatever you want. Tell us specifics just so we can actually find the right guest for you, and make sure that you're going to get the really valuable information from that.
Absolutely. Look, listen, we've got Andy Levy, who I know from back in the Neo Post James the days. They've actually changed now. These are guys that do post room equipment. I worked for the company for many years. Learned a lot of my sales skills in big corporate companies selling post room equipment. So capital equipment in essence, guys. Well, Andy actually runs a telesales team now for Ricoh. So that would be really interesting. Andy wants to come on the show. Andy, get over onto the Facebook page. Anybody else on Instagram? Anybody on Facebook? Anybody on YouTube? Even now, we are going to update a few questions, but for now, it's still relevant. If you go over to the Facebook page, Essex Business Radio's Facebook page, click on the send message button, and then tap on get on a show. And that will take, Elliot Bot will take you through a few questions there. We will be updating this week. You can do it now. You can do it over the next couple of days. It will change. It's irrelevant to when you go on there, but it will give us a good idea about who you are. We'll have a look at what it is that you do. If you feel it's a good fit for the show and for the audience, then we'll absolutely be looking at getting you on, having a chat with you, and then going from there. So Andy Levy is just done a friend request on Facebook. Brilliant. So Instagram is working excellent. Andy, we'll definitely want to chat with you, because I'd love to talk about that. It's different running a telesales team for a huge company like Ricoh. They must be getting serious fucking challenges right now, Adrian. What do you reckon?
Yeah, not just that. When I started on my journey as a digital marketing guy, all the training that I've done, and all that, it was just saying, you have to do cold calling, right, and stuff like that. And it was very difficult for me. So having someone like Andy, here on the show, then can probably give us some tips, because I'm sure if I was in that position or in that situation, many others will be. And it's a very important art, knowing how to talk with people that you never talked before on the phone and manage to sell them things, all right?
Absolutely. Well, listen, Andy Levy has joined us. Thanks very much for joining, Andy. It'd be great to chat with you. It's been many years since, thank for you still on Facebook and you're on Insta. So listen, it shows the power of social media, guys. We're doing a live show here. Yes, we've done a few already, but we are just, I have to be honest with you, after 2 or 3 months of doing the show, we really are starting to get some traction with this show now. So if you're doing podcasts, guys, it's a great medium. You know, just keep going with these things. We're dedicated to doing these 3 times a week. We are going to be doing some recording. We're going to tell you about that in a little while, about how that is changing as well. Somebody else over on Instagram, Top Posh 4, says Essex Smiles. Well, funnily enough, actually, the owner of Essex Smiles agreed to come on. He is going to be coming on the show. Really looking forward to that as well. And we've got a few other people lined up as well. But any recommendations, get over, make a comment over on Facebook, on any of the 4 5 profiles that are on there. It's probably the best place to make a comment. And in fact, it'll probably work on YouTube as well. Does it work on YouTube if you make a comment? I'm not sure.
Yes.
Right.
Yep. Yep.
So get over onto Facebook, make a comment there. If you've got recommendations, tag them in the posts, and also give us a thumbs up if you love what we're going to be doing from here on out. Ferna Liz King is saying, future workforce. What does the future workforce look like? It's a very valid question, Fern. There are some big changes going on, some positive changes, some negative, some would say. But Adrian, I don't like to think like that.
We've discussed about that. Sorry. Hello, Elliot's mum.
My mum, big love to you. Thanks very much for saying that as well, mum. Big love. We've also got a different ball games joined. They make some great products. Go over onto Facebook. Go and check us out on there, or YouTube, Essex Business Radio, or Elliot Brown. You can pretty well find us on there, and we are live. So go and check us out over there. We will get a couple of representatives, hopefully the owner and somebody else, I won't mention names in case they want to come on, from a different ball game to talk about what they're doing. Really pivotal with their products. Adrian knows what I'm talking about. Garments, caps, other products, all sorts of things made from ocean plastics. This is pivotal. It's not just, guys, we don't just want to talk to people that's got a pivotal idea. Actually, this show has grown. It's more varied now, still pivotal. So we want the audience to learn something that's going to be pivotal to them. And that could be something from somebody's past where they've had to pivot. They've had to pivot personally, or their business has had to pivot, not just in COVID or the lockdown or whatever you want to class it as, but in the last 10 years, possibly 10 years ago when we had the big market crash, and in the last 20 years, that was the biggest. This is the next huge, thing that's been going on. And so lots of people are pivoting now. So we want to hear from those people. This is a varied and vast show, but everybody we want to get on, or the 2 guests we want to get on chatting with us, we want to be learning loads of stuff from. Fern said, stand-up comedy. Love to hear about comedy, laughing, what drives a laugh from people. Is it a growing industry? Funny you should mention that. That's the pun. But as it happens, we've actually been speaking to somebody that actually does comedy for business. And they write comedy for business posts and for marketing. So we're going to get those guys on as well. I think it's a great thing to bring in. There's a lot of serious shit out there, particularly podcasts, right? But then some that's got a bit of humor and a bit more easygoing and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of growth for those. Like these shows where maybe I drop the fucking F-bomb and I swear a little bit and we have a bit of a laugh and we try not to take things too seriously. I try not to have it too staged and too scripted as well, because, well, trust me, I couldn't fucking do that anyway, could I, Adrian? When it's scripted, my head.
That's why I've never been good in cold calling. It's just scripting. It was never good for me. I could not remember the script, so that I just doesn't work with me.
Yeah, definitely. Vlad, your friend Adrian is going.
Now it's your friend as well. It's the friend of the show. So,
friend of the show. Good evening, friends. Your community on YouTube demand a join button. Just have to see what we can do on that side. I'm not quite sure how he said that again. Listen, Vlad, I'm not sure how you do that. So what? Join as in what? Join on the show. If you want to do that, in fact, we can actually add in a guest. So if we started off with no guest like tonight, we could add somebody in right now by sending a message to you directly and sending you a link which can get you straight onto the show. We're not going to do that with Vlad this evening, though, because I'm a bit worried about what he'll say. Adrian, what are you saying?
Yeah, well, he can comment there, so no problem. He can comment there if he wants to be on the show or not. No problem.
So,
Yeah.
so right. So we're talking about guests and the sort of guests we want to get on. So listen, give us a thumbs up if you're liking this. Send us some love hearts, or send us some emojis on the comments as well to let us know you like what we're doing, you don't like what we're doing, or you love what we're doing, or whatever. Just some explosions, or I don't know. Just send us some shit. Let us know you're involved with what we're doing here, because this is all about you guys. This show, we're just here to chat shit, but no, we're not really. We're well, yeah, a little bit. But chat.
We're just talking a bit of shit now. All right, let's move to something.
Anyway, the guests, right? Guests. So we genuinely want to get people that have got e-commerce businesses, now new, old, been running for years, online.
Actually, what we want people that have not necessarily that they have to have an extremely successful business, but people that have good businesses, right? Businesses that are already working for maybe at least a year or 6 months, and they've pivoted quite well, or they have something sustainable. Someone that just wants to launch themselves now and they don't really have a background, it's a bit difficult to work with those people, right? So correct me if I'm wrong, Elliot, but that's what we're looking for, right?
Well, I mean, of course, we definitely want to have people that have got. I mean, and there's a lot of people that have come out of what's been going on recently. Where they've started a business and have had to pivot, but have really taken advantage of this and are smashing it. Genuinely smashing it. So those are the sort of people we want to hear from. And look, a lot of those are going to be online business, e-commerce businesses, right?
So even if someone actually made millions selling toilet paper when it was the toilet paper rush, during COVID.
Yeah,
I would be extremely happy to have them on the show, right? Just because it was someone that managed to do that very, very quickly and promote themselves, and they must know a way how to make, how to make money easy in times like that, right? Or even someone that does hand sanitizer. Even maybe it's not the most ethical thing, but we're not looking about that. We're looking about the actual way how the business has been done, and to learn from it.
Yeah, listen, Jamie Marshall's going to come back on. He's definitely pivoted recently. He's got a big print company in Essex, the biggest, I would say, actually, one of the biggest in the UK. He's been running for many years. He had to pivot and has been doing huge business in that area. I was offered it by numerous people, as I'm sure so many business people out there were offered the opportunity to get involved with masks and hand sanitizers. But like any business, as soon as there's lots of people in it, you've got to be smart. If you're there early days, you probably could have sold pallet loads, if not lorry loads of it. But if you're still selling it and you're still doing well, we'd love to hear from you, because there's something you've done differently to others that has meant you've had that, continuation of the business. So, that's important. So absolutely right. Yeah. So e-commerce, online businesses is a big thing. Moving your business to online. It's been a huge thing in the last few years, but even more so this year. Massively impacted companies that never thought about moving online, or maybe considered it and now move there. But also, not just that, but we want coaches on. Seriously, guys, make sure you're a good coach. Make sure you know what the hell you're talking about. We genuinely, right? And this, I'm not knocking anybody here, right? If you've got a coaching business and you've only recently got into it, and because you've been on a course and you suddenly think you're a coach, I have to be honest with you, you're probably not the right people for us, unless you found a niche and unless you've absolutely started smashing it for some reason, either because you've used ClickFunnels or something very, very innovative, something new or fresh. Then we do want to hear from you, but we want to hear from coaches that may cover, life coaching, money coaches, financial coaches, those, people that are going to, you've got something to really, really help, and you've got a successful platform that works for people.
And not just that, when we said we want to have two guests, so if you guys want to see a life coach versus a money coach, feel free to let us know in the comments, right?
Yeah. Or
we're more than happy to try to make that happen.
Or if you think you're new to coaching, but you think you can challenge a coach that's been around for a long time, now that would be an interesting conversation, because I think
exactly.
However, you may have something that we don't know of. I mean, I'm not judging here. I just know that there's a huge amount of coaches, and everybody that is in the business arena, online arena, self-development world, and whether you're doing that for yourself or helping others, knows that there's an abundance of fucking coaches out there. There's way too many coaches, but there's a place for everybody.
The same applies at the end of the day with the digital marketing, with other things as well, right, and stuff like that. And it's exactly the same principle. You need to have something that's your own thing, right, and it needs to be damn good, right?
Yeah, definitely. We've got listen. We've got Sherry Frankie. Great. Hi, Sherry. Thanks very much for joining.
Hello,
this. So far, so good. Well, it's nice to hear. It's nice to hear. It's something positive. Andy, obviously, still watching. Thanks very much, Andy, for staying with us. Have been having some great calls in B2B sales since lockdown. People working from home,
so
welcoming to conversations.
So, Andy, please tell us how you go. Yeah, please tell us how you go the conversations now.
Probably because they are missing conversations in the workplace. I've got to read that out, Adrian, because anybody listening to the podcast can't see this. Listen, nobody's been doing face-to-face meetings. I know that from speaking to these guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's why I'm curious how the conversations, the B2B conversations are starting now. You just call them and say, hi, how have you been? Do you feel lonely? They have a chat, and then you just go straight to their heart, or their mind, and after that tell them something about the sales.
Yeah. Okay. So you haven't done a lot of online telephone sales, have you, Adrian?
No.
Well, I'll tell you what. But I've done a lot. Andy.
No. I say, how do they work now? Not before. I mean now, because now you probably go into the.
With all due respect, nothing has changed. I think the fact that people will be slightly more welcoming, as Andy said. But listen, I think a great conversation. We'll get Andy on. We're going to find out about it. If anybody else has been using the phones more recently, and maybe that's your way of getting in to organise a Zoom call or however you do it, then we want to know about that. What is the way what are the processes that people are using? So that's it. Proactive sales, marketing. There's going to be lots of marketeers, lots of people in digital marketing, social media marketing. In fact, physical marketing, or if they class it offline marketing now. So maybe that's going to be flyers and things like that. We've spoken about that months ago on a podcast about how you can flyer and something useful. So that's a good area to talk about as well.
Yeah, app builders as well. If you have a business and you created a very successful app for it, even if you haven't actually built the app, but you have paid someone and they've done that app for you and it's working great, I would love to hear from that as well. Just because I think loads of people are thinking about having an app for their business, especially if it's if it's in the retail industry or restaurants and stuff, like travel industry. I would love to hear from that.
The travel industry is an interesting one. We've had a few people on, haven't we, over the last few months about the travel industry. Listen, I'd tell you what I'd love to hear from. I'd love to hear from somebody that's been doing really, really, really well. Because I'm not being funny. As much as it's been hit, there are still people going away, and there's some incredible deals out there. So somebody's making some money out of traveling somewhere, being probably adaptable and finding countries that you can travel to and things that you can do, or they're promoting stuff in the UK. Whatever it is, we want to hear from you and how you've had to pivot in a massively, massively difficult market, probably the most difficult market that there has ever been since travel became a thing, 100, 150 years ago. Financial directors, FDs, anybody that's in finance, I think it's always, this is an area that is always one of the most difficult for business owners. Even if you're good with numbers, it's an area that we could all do with help with. Planning, preparing, ideas that you've got, systems that you might use, something you've got that might work. Or have you been on your ass before? Have you had to get yourself up from nothing? I've had to do that myself. Happy to chat about that. So it's not just about, as I said, the pivotal idea you've got or some solution you've got. We want to hear about your what you've done to come up, how you've had to scrimp and save and what you've had to do with your money to get there as well. So let's have some money matter podcasts as well. Also digital marketing, as we mentioned, podcast business. Listen, this is huge now. Podcasting has become a huge part of the business. We don't want to do podcasts about podcasts particularly. But what is it that you've had to do? Where have you come from? What is it that you've done in learning? I personally have been doing this for nearly a year now. So I started last September, and in fact, we're just about to level up after a year of doing it. It shows that, and we've done a lot. I mean, in total, we're doing the shows with Adrian and the ones before. I've done in over 100 podcasts in a year, and there's been gaps where I haven't done any podcasts for or recorded anything for a month or maybe 2 months. Just to let you know, on Instagram, if you want to see the show where both Adrian and I talk to each other, so you can hear what's going on rather than just seeing me, then go over to Facebook, Essex Business Radio, on my Facebook page, or Adrian Dorobantu, of course, or the YouTube channel Essex Business Radio. Go and check it out. Okay, so that talks about the sort of guests we want to get on. Listen,
exactly.
We want people in life as well, don't we? We want people that are like upbeat, not afraid of maybe dropping an old swear word in here because they're natural and we'll have a laugh and things. We want it to be real.
So like Fern was saying, stand-up comedians, I think they will be good. And talking about what they've done. So about that industry, I've watched my Romanian industry of stand-up comedians quite close, during the pandemic.
Why,
And what
funny?
they've done,
Are they funny?
yes, very funny, not like me. And most of them, they started podcasts, collaborations and podcasts. Some of them, they started different shows or podcasts. Even so, like two people, they just joined together and they started doing different podcasts. I know one of them, it's they just play games on consoles and making fun because they're funny anyway. So they're gonna say silly comments and things like that, all right?
Yeah.
And people just watch them because it's way better than watching the news and other things.
Yeah.
Sometimes they all four of them, they meet and they take about the real life situations and they try to make a topic about that and just make fun of it. Another guy was just making a whole show making fun of, like, you have in UK BT, in Romania was DG, that was the internet company. In US, I don't know what you have, Verizon or
AT&T.
AT&T and stuff like that. So he just made fun of them about how will they treat their clients, like just stuff like that. It was a very funny thing to do. And then the company actually got involved and they apologized publicly about that. They never done that before, but now, because only now people realize, how powerful in the internet is, and a podcast or a stand-up comedian, which you never think that it's a person that has, good power in the country, but actually they had. It was the first one that the company replied back to them and apologized. Like, say, sorry, mister, because we fucked up your day. We promise it's not going to happen again.
Oh, listen, if you're a comedian and you think you've got something to add, then we'd want to hear from you. But listen, there's down the bottom of the screen. Hi Lee, how you doing? Thanks for joining us on Instagram. Pop on over to Facebook and join us over there, where I'm chatting to Adrian Dorobantu about what we've got going on with the show, the Pivotal Podspective, and Essex Business Radio as of next week. So come and join us, my Facebook page or Essex Business Radio. Listen, if you don't hear, as you can see going across the bottom of the screen now, if you've got something new, you've got something different, you want to be a guest on the show, then we want to hear from you. So go over to the Essex Business Radio Facebook page, click on the send a message button, which is at the top of the page to the right, I think, and then click on or tap on get on a show, and it'll take you through a few questions. We are going to be updating those questions, but for now, they'll still work, and we can have a look at what you've got. If you're a good fit, then we will get you on the show.
Second part
about that. Yeah. The second part is that Essex Business Radio is having music going on the streaming channel, which we're going to give you the details of next week. So there's going to be music and there's going to be podcasts to put on there. So there's going to be a breakfast show. There's going to be podcasts through the day, and there's going to be other podcasts as well. So if you have a business podcast that is edutainment based, we want it to be more educational and informative, but entertaining as well. We don't want somebody that's just going, this is how you do this. This is what I've done because that's how you do it. No, we want to have something that's a bit entertaining, something that's a bit upbeat, something that's got some stuff going on. And we've got some people coming on that we're going to be putting their podcasts on there. But if you do and you're interested, then go over and to the Essex Business Radio Facebook page, and we will have a button, a thing on there. But for now, it says ask a question and just basically say interested in putting a podcast on, and we will get back to you for now. So it's something else we need to update. So we're updating the chat bot this week. So just bear with us. We're running ahead of it, but I'm not being funny. You don't have to be fucking perfect with these things, guys. Let's just do this shit together. Okay, so what else we got going on?
Third part. So the third part is we're looking from you guys to know what are the main challenges in your business, or I don't know, hobby right now, but mainly business, let's say. Me and Elliot, we have kind of identified a few challenges for us, right? And just to give you an example, for me, a challenge is posting on social media. I don't really enjoy it that much, all right? And I don't have that much time for it because I have to do other things, all right? That's one of the things. Second would be when I have to do research. I'm very meticulous and very analytical, and I like to do, well, I think I have to do the research, my research just myself, because I'm the best at doing that. But still, it's not something I like sometimes, right? And that's again another task that I would love to have someone to do it for me. And I know it's extremely difficult, but I'm just putting those tasks as an example, right? I know, Elliot, maybe if you want to give some examples.
Hey, listen, I mean, as a creative, as a sort of entrepreneur that I am, and I don't necessarily class myself as that, but, let's keep that for, because we're all entrepreneurs here. Your admin, the admin, the support, the back end, it's things that I've had to look at dealing with and how that's worked. So that's always been a big challenge for me. I've got an aversity to fucking emails, right? I hate emails. I actually way prefer talking to people, dealing with things. But then that brings up a challenge as well, because when you're doing that and you're chatting with people, you've then got to take notes. So that's an area as well. It's the note taking, it's then following up with notes, and it's actioning things, and having a plan, and and doing your to-do lists and things like that. All of those things there, I know, because we've spoken to lots and lots of different people that have been in business for years, that are new, that are in fledgling, that are a few years old. We've asked a lot of people, so we genuinely want to hear from all of you, whether it's something that you do just in your day-to-day roles and your jobs and you just work for a company, or whether you're in management, or whether you have your own company or you're about to set one up. What are the challenges that you face? What are the things you really don't fucking like doing as well? I mean, what is you don't like doing? Because if there are things that you do not like doing, and I don't use like the word hate, but I genuinely, right, have a real dislike for forms. Now, this may be a really weird thing, guys, but I can't fill forms out. I mean, I'll do it eventually, but if I can get away with doing it, I will. And then, so important things sometimes just don't get done because it's a form I've got to do. So there you go. There's a weird example. So we want to hear from everybody what they are. Jason Sharpie, yes, my guy. Thanks very much for joining.
Hi, Jason.
And we've got loads of flames. Good man, big man. Thanks very much for watching and joining us on the live. What are your challenges, Jason? I know you. I know how your business works, and and so I know the challenge you have. What challenges do you guys have? Drop it in the comments below. Let us know. These are things that we want to be addressing in the show. So if we've got somebody on that's runs does admin, for example, or a big part of their business is providing admin support for companies and things like that, something that we have involvement with as well, we want to hear about that, because people have different challenges. We want to get people on the show. We want to get guests on that genuinely want to impart information that is going to help everybody. So if we can then go, well, guys, what would you do in this situation? Then with our relevant questions, not just coming from myself and Adrian, because we have our own challenges, but what other challenges there are as well. So we'll also have a place for maybe that you can drop those things in, so we can build that information out, so that we can make sure we bring that up in the relevant shows. Jason's making loads of comments over here. Building my business, or building the business. Yeah, I mean, that's always a big challenge. Planning, preparation, actioning, a lot of planning, a lot of preparation is needed when you're building. He wants more shops, making it grow. We've got loads of comments coming in from Jason, and Flow Rider and Ray J again. Not quite sure what that meant, but yeah. So listen, there are loads of things there, and we want to be hearing from you guys. So when we're on the shows, then drop those comments in below. Drop them in so we can ask them at the time, or ask a question so we can bring it up.
We want to have something like a poll, right? And just to understand what most of the people have as a challenge, and try to bring people, guests on the show that could maybe give some clarity or help with that challenge, and say what they do when they struggle with that. Again, maybe, like I said, maybe you really love a PA, a proper PA that will do almost everything for you, organize your life and all that. That's a challenge. And I think all of us, we could probably benefit with Donna from Suits, if I remember correctly. No, that was the redhead lady from Suits. She was.
Yeah. Was that Suits? You're right. Yeah. Another show that I like. Suits and Billions are the ones. We've got just somebody over on Instagram at the moment. Let me just see who that is. Alfie, if you want to go over onto Facebook, as you won't be able to hear what Adrian's saying, because obviously the sound's coming in through here. Give you guys a wave. Go over onto Facebook. Go and join us over there. Essex Business Radio or Elliot Brown. Go and check us out, or YouTube. You can check us out there. But if you go over onto Facebook, you can drop a comment in below as well, and we can get you on the show and give you a shout out. So challenges, things you really dislike, things you literally cannot do. What is it that you can't do in your business and that you're getting stuck with? Or if you're trying to come up with some differentiator for your business, which I love that word, and you want to get a new business out there that you've sort of thought about or that you've started, but you're really struggling to find that differentiator, I swear to God that a lot of people that are coming on the show will be able to come up with ideas. We could be like a mastermind. We could be a creative, collective mastermind as we're doing the shows. Why not? Why not do that? This is as good as getting advisors in front of you, so you can get involved with the show and ask the questions. Sherry saying the biggest challenge was what happens after lockdown. I had a full-time job which was put into redundancy due to COVID, making my business my full-time job. So the transition has been the challenge. Well, listen, Sherry, we'd love to hear more about that, and maybe we can get you on a show. We can have a chat with you, maybe get you on somebody that can give you some advice as well. We can all maybe have a chat about that.
To be honest, Sherry, you know what's going to happen? It's going to happen whatever the fuck you want. Because you're in charge of that, right? And the fact that now your business is your full-time job, I see that only as a benefit. I'm not sure. I suppose if you have a business already, that means you have an entrepreneurial mind. And if you have been an employee before, then you must have not been that happy, or maybe that would not last that long, right? And just look at this thing like an accelerated thing to move on to whatever you want to do next and grow your business.
Yeah.
Just watch it like that, right? Don't be negative at all. There's no point.
No, I'm not being funny, but we have Lewis that was on The Apprentice. He's going to be coming on the show as well. He was on, I think, the last series of The Apprentice. He's a local guy from Essex as well, so he's going to be coming on the show. And in fact, he did a video the other day, and he was sort of videoing, saying, redundancy, and he was celebrating the fact that if you're being made redundant, it's a good thing right now. You can set up your own business. You're a free person. There is room, right, for lots of new businesses. The world at the moment is absolutely screaming out for new entrepreneurs, people that are able to pivot, willing to pivot, want to pivot, are looking to develop themselves and their fledgling business, their little business they were doing before. Listen, you haven't got to travel to an office. You're going to cut down on your costs. In fact, there is no better time to be doing this right now. Social media is a great place to be if you need to work it. There are loads of tools, and we are going to be getting on incredible guests that are going to be here to help us all in getting ourselves out there in every way, shape, or form on a personal and professional level. So that is cool. Sherry said, absolutely, and then said, I have the insane confidence that my business was meant to be the way forward for me. So I believe things happen for a reason. And do you know what, Sherry? You keep that thought like that, because that is exactly how you need to do it. And you feel a bit down sometimes, it's absolutely okay. Genuinely, it's all right to feel down. It's all right to feel like you've been trudging along for a good few days and not getting anywhere. I do it. Adrian does it. We all do it. The most successful people on the planet do it. I guarantee you, Elon Musk will have days thinking, what the hell am I doing? It's all relevant to where you are, and allow yourself to do that. The biggest thing that I've learned over the last 6 to 8, probably 12 months, in fact, is when you get like that, just change your environment. Get out, step out of your spare room, off the dining room table, the kitchen, or if you're lucky and you've got an office in your house or whatever, just change. Just change what you're doing. Go outside, breathe deeply, walk around, change your environment, and come back an hour or so later, get on with it, and you will probably have cleared your head. And if you haven't, I'm not being funny, just go and do something else for the day. Go and do something else that's productive, or do something that's for you. So
exactly. You have to stop those thoughts. Yeah, exactly. And that's it.
Yeah. Because otherwise, you're not being funny. If you just sit there still trying to work, you're not going to get anywhere. You're going to waste hours. It's going to get more frustrating, and you're not going to get anywhere fast. Hi, Kirky Cuckoo. That's a great name, by the way. Thanks very much for joining over on Instagram. Pop on over and go and check out what we're doing on Facebook. A great Instagram name, Kirky Cuckoo. Beautiful, love that. Mine used to be Elzebub on or Elzebub Life. If some of you guys know on Instagram, that was my Instagram name for a good couple of years, and everybody knew me as that. In fact, when I changed it to Elliot Brown, I don't think anybody knew who the hell I was anymore. But anyway, that's by the by. Elzebub, by the way, is a derivative of Beelzebub, And I'll just leave that to your imagination, guys. If you don't know who that is, Google it. I'm just devilishly good. That's what we like to call it. Devilishly good. So guests, the people we want to get on the show, Essex Business Radio moving to music, and we are going to be scaling and growing what we're doing at Essex Business Radio, involving more podcasters, more business podcasters, not just from Essex, but for Essex. So if you're from outside Essex and you think you've got a great podcast show and you want to get it on there because you want to put it on a different platform and get yourself out there, then we'd love to hear from you. If you've got some energy and you're different and you're a little bit different from the rest of them, it doesn't matter if you haven't got a huge audience, but if you think you've got something that's slightly different, a little bit edgy, a little bit renegade, as we like to be a bit here, then get in touch and we'll have a look and see if that's a good fit for getting on Essex Business Radio. Maybe we'll try it out, see if the audience likes it. Who knows? We can do what the fuck we want because nobody governs what we do on there. We are the boss of Essex Business Radio, so we can do what we want, guys. So we want podcasters to come on, get yourself out there. If you've got something you think is going to help people on a personal level to personally develop or business-wise, then we want to definitely hear from you guys. So we've covered pretty well everything there, don't you think, Adrian?
Yeah, I think we've done our job for tonight.
We have a guest on tomorrow. Very, very interesting guest. This guy looks like he's in his 20s, basically, and he's known as the gorgeousness coach, I think is what he's known as. And in fact, his name is, one second, because I've just forgotten it. How rude of me. His name is Tristan Lee. So Tristan Lee is coming on the show tomorrow evening, and then we have John Kenny, who's a relationship coach, on Thursday as well. So both at 9 p.m. John Kenny, I've known for many years, and helps people just to deal with their relationships, either with people and in business, but really, really good guy. He really helped me many years ago with lots of elements and dealing with certain people and certain difficult situations. So he's going to be really interesting. Really looking forward to getting him on the show. Interesting to talk to Tristan, who I don't know, but he sounds like... So
Tristan is going to talk about what? He's going to talk about the fitness and all that.
He's going to talk about how he's your wellness and fitness and pieces like that. So,
guys, any questions that you have for fitness and stuff like that, feel free to ask him tomorrow. It's like a free session with a great personal trainer. All right. So
I think he's a I don't know that he's a personal trainer, to be honest, but
it is like that.
Have you read the notes?
No, that's what I asked you.
Check Tristan Lee out. He's an interesting guy. He's like Benjamin Button. He's older than me, but he looks in his 20s. The guy, it looks good, but it's how he keeps his mindset like that to keep himself healthy, looking good, feeling good, and being really, really productive. Okay.
So good. So if you want to still look good when you're 60, please join us tomorrow. And if you have problems in your relation, or if you're 60 and you want to have a 20-year-old girlfriend, again, join us the day after that on Thursday.
Yeah. And so did you say Romanian comedians were really funny? Did you?
No, but I said not me, so I'm not a comedian. Yeah,
I reckon you should do stand-up. You should do stand-up
sometimes.
No. Okay, yeah. So if you've got questions for them, then come on. So at 9 p.m. tomorrow and Thursday, next week, starting on Tuesday, the 1st of September, we'll be going live at 7 p.m. Now, just to let you know, if you want to come on a live show, then those are the ones we're going to be doing, and we can obviously at 7 p.m. But if you want a recorded show, you've got a big audience, you want to come on, you want to do something that's just maybe just you, not with a guest as well, another guest as well, and you want to chat to us because you've got something big to talk about, then also get in touch because we'd love to hear from you and get you on the show. We've got some interesting names coming up, some people with some decent audiences, and slightly more. I don't want to belittle guests that don't have big audiences because it's not always about
more established. Let's say
more established is the right word. Yeah. So we've got some quite interesting people that are due to come on the show as well. So we want to hear from you. We'll be putting some posts up this week as well. But genuinely want to hear back from you guys again before we go. Want to hear back from you on the sort of guests that you want to have on or the subject matters that you want to get on the show that you want us to chat about. And we're going to be giving people a hard time sometimes. We want the guests to give each other a bit of a hard time. We want it to be, not just complete debate, but let's get the juices flowing. Let's have something that's a bit more fucking like that. I just want a bit more interesting. That's just going to get us noticed for being just that little bit different, a little bit more renegade, but also things that you guys can take away and pivot, so we can all pivot together. Why not? This is the new world of business. Let's make shit happen together.
Exactly. Right. More than happy to do that.
So if you want to know what's going on, then keep an eye out on Facebook and Instagram, as there's going to be some posts going out this week. Please make some comments. You can make comments after this if you're watching this afterwards, after the live, over the next week, whenever. You can drop the comments below. We'll still pick those comments up. So we genuinely want to hear from you. Who you want to hear, what sort of guests you want to get on, and bits and pieces like that. And then we're going to let you know next week the link so you can actually listen to podcasts, just streaming when you're at work. If you're working into the evenings, you have some music, you have some podcasts, business related podcasts, personal development podcasts, things like that are going to be a little bit more interesting that you can play in the background while you're working as well. So that's all cool. Listen, Adrian, thank you very much for joining me this evening. Of course, as always.
Thank you, Elliot, and thank you to everyone else. That was a good night, and we had some good comments.
Yeah. And thanks very much for watching, listening. What have you been doing, guys? Always joining us on the Pivotal Podspective is great. If you come back next week at 7 p.m, slightly better time for people in the UK and in fact in Europe as well. Doesn't really make a huge amount of difference for people elsewhere in the world apart from Australia, because that's going to make it really early. But you can always watch it back. So we are pretty well on demand. We'll always be on YouTube, Facebook, and it'll be going out on Essex Business Radio on the streaming radio channel as well. Thanks very much for joining us here on the Pivotal Podspective. I've been your host, Elliot Brown, my co-host,
Adrian Romantu.
And we're going to sign off for now. So we're going to go with the crowd. I think the crowd is going to cheer us off. And so we're going to say ciao for now.
Brown cow.